Mike Embley.
I'm Jamie Robertson.
This is The World Today from BBC News. The polls open in Iran. All eyes are on the turnout amid calls for an election boycott. British police begin their own investigation into the 5 Britons being freed from Guantanamo Bay. As Indian officials debate an election date, the government talks up the economic feel-good factor.
And in business, will the land of the rising sun become a land of the rising yen? Important data out of Japan this morning.
Welcome to The World Today, and an hour of the latest international news, business and sport. In just the past half hour, the polls have opened in Iran's parliamentary elections. This is a race heavily weighted with Islamic conservatives because hardline clerics have struck. Now let's round up some of the other main international news for you. The Lithuanian parliament has accepted a report by a parliamentary commission which has found grounds for impeachment proceedings against the president, Rolandas Paksas. Mr. Paksas is accused of links to Russian organised crime. The report says he violated the Constitution and the presidential oath. He denies those charges. There'll now be further investigations and court rulings before Parliament takes a final vote on whether to impeach him. In Austria, 5 police officers have been injured in a clash with demonstrators on Thursday. About 450 people rallied against the Opera Ball, Austria's most visible high society event. Many protesters also carried anti-American and anti-capitalism banners. Sweden has announced it will send up to 240 troops to Liberia next month as part of a growing United Nations peace mission there. The UN force is expected to number 15,000 soldiers by mid-March. The mission is aimed at enforcing a ceasefire and peace agreement between government troops and rebel factions. Well, as more UN troops arrive...
We'll be back with more on those stories here on the BBC's World Business Report. That happens in 20 minutes' time. Back to you, Mike.
Jamie, we'll see you then. Thank you very much indeed. You're watching The World Today from BBC News. We have coming up the latest international sport. And Berlin plays host to more than 200 modern art masterpieces. MoMA comes to town. Let's take a closer look now at the news around the UK. Police are hoping to interview... You're watching The World Today from BBC News. The main international headlines now. The polls have opened in Iran. All eyes are on the turnout amid calls for an election boycott. And British police are beginning their own investigation into the 5 Britons to be freed from Guantanamo Bay. Coming up in World Business Report, can there be light at the end of Japan's long, dark economic tunnel? Data out today suggests so. More from Jamie on that in just a moment. First, election officials in India are due to meet representatives. And briefly a reminder of the main international news. The polls have opened in Iran's general election. Attention heavily focused on the turnout amid calls for a boycott. Reformists say the result is a foregone conclusion because so many of them have been disqualified by the conservative vetting body, the Council of Guardians. British police have begun their own investigation into 5 Britons who are to be released from the Guantanamo Bay prison camp. The question of what would happen to them if they were sent back to Britain was a key issue in negotiations with the US over their release. I'll be back with the weather after a world news summary, followed by World Business Report with Jamie. Stay with us. Back to The World Today. My name is Mike Embley. Jamie Robertson will be here in a moment with World Business Report. First, the top news stories. Polls have opened in Iran for parliamentary elections. This is a race...
World Business Report on The World Today. Mike, headlines.
Jamie, thank you. Here they are. Polls have opened in Iran's general elections amid controversy over the banning of reformist candidates. The Supreme Leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, has called for a massive turnout, but his critics are urging a boycott. British police are beginning their own investigation into the 5 Britons being freed from Guantanamo Bay. The United Nations has agreed with the United States that it's not feasible to hold early elections in Iraq.
And in business, Japanese data suggests a long-awaited recovery may be round the corner. And Jeff Skilling, the man in charge of Enron, surrenders, pleading his innocence. Now let's go to our Reuters correspondent. I'm Jamie Robertson, and that is all from the World Business Report.
And I'm Mike Embley, wherever you're watching in the world. Thanks for being with us here on The World Today.